Okay, so this week we're talking about emotions, and we were asked to kind of take note of when something reminded us of a different occasion or certain memories came up, and just try to remember the emotions that go along with those memories. Because when we experience something that is different or it's significant enough to break the second threshold and change our basic firing pattern, it gets so it'll create a memory, and we encode those memories with emotion. So it would pretty much be our mason jars would be our basic firing pattern, and then whatever is inside the mason jar would be our emotions or how we were feeling at the time. So one of the first things that came to mind was actually in class when you showed us a picture of your face. It immediately reminded me of earlier this summer. My husband got stung in the bridge of his nose twice by a wasp, so he had a really swollen face. And I actually did one of my PAs about avatars because it reminded me of an avatar. But it was on a Wednesday. He got stung in the nose, and it wasn't a big deal. He kind of just had a little red dot, and he was like a little startled by it, but it wasn't a huge deal. And then the next day we went to work, and he didn't look weird or anything, and it was on a Thursday night, so it was during the Twilight concert series, and I had gone with a bunch of girlfriends to go see Empire of the Sun, and was having a really great time, and it's a really theatrical 80s style, like huge dance party type show, so I was having a really good time, and I was a designated driver, so I was everyone's ride there, and he sent me a text message probably 3 or 4 songs into the show, and he just said, do we have any Benadryl? My face is swelling pretty bad. And I was like, oh, that's so weird. It's like a day and a half later. And I was like, I knew we didn't have Benadryl here, so I just told him, no, I'll pick some up for you on the way home after I drop everyone off. And he was like, okay. So then, like 10 or 15 minutes later, he sent me a text with a picture of his face, and it just was so swollen. And it's actually worse than that picture. I didn't save the one that he sent me that night, but he looked like an alien, and I knew that I had to get him Benadryl ASAP. And he's kind of one of those guys that won't go to the doctor unless like a limb is falling off. So I felt really bad for making my friends have to leave really early. It was probably halfway through, and I just had to tell him, like, look, guys, this is kind of an emergency. I gotta go get Sean some Benadryl. And I need to see how he's doing, because he's never been stung by a bee as an adult. He was only stung like as a kid, and I guess it didn't really have that big of an effect, and you can become allergic to stuff. So at the concert, when all this like wildness and crazy and this like theatrical 80s show is going on, I'm just like preoccupied thinking, oh my gosh, like, is it gonna affect his vision? Is his throat gonna start closing up? So I got really worried. I just remember feeling worried, and I felt bad for my friends for having them, leave early, but it's kind of just one of those things that I was like, sorry guys. And then that actually reminded me of about 2 weeks before that. I woke up one morning, and I get up pretty early, so it was at like 5:30 in the morning, and I had made myself some coffee, and I was reaching in my pantry to get a stir stick to stir my coffee, and I got this really incredible, intense burning sensation right here on my arm, and initially I thought I got bit by a spider, and it was in the dark, so I couldn't see anything, and I just remember yelling, oh my god, what the fuck, and I hit my arm to try to get whatever was biting me off, and I flipped the light on, and my husband came running upstairs, and he was like, what is going on? And I looked at my arm, and I had this like red spot, and I rubbed it, and this little stinger thing that was like this came out of my arm. It was a little black stinger, and I was like, I just got stung by something, and I looked over, and there was a hornet crawling across our wall. And so I had never been stung by anything before, and I've always been really scared because I just don't really know what to expect, but at least I didn't have initially that fear, because I had no idea that there was a wasp in my or a hornet in my pantry. So I just remember feeling like really dazed and confused and tired and shocked and in pain and not happy. It was on a Sunday, which is my least favorite day of the week. Work is always crazy and something disastrous always happens. So I was like, oh great, this is how my day is going to start. Awesome. So I was kind of pissed about it. But yeah, I just remember feeling confused and in pain and like having a negative attitude towards the rest of the day after that. It was kind of a shitty way to start it.